This video is for the operation of the Loadlog 8000i. First, as you power the unit up, you'll notice that it will temporarily display the loop logo and also the revision of software. For any particular service issues, the revision of software would be a good thing to have in your possession when you call in. We are going to talk about the screen. This one is called the main screen. This is a screen that the unit powers up to, as you can see. The buttons at the bottom of the screen, starting in the far left, the 0 key, if you see that there's a 0 in a bucket, that is used to zero the bucket at the beginning of the day. The next button is the auto manual key. Pressing the button once changes it from auto to manual, and we'll discuss that further. The next button across the bottom is the clear one. That's one bucket subtracted. In other words, the last bucket. If you don't want it on the truck, then you would hit the clear one button, and it would take that particular bucket load off. The clear button is used at the end of the load to clear the display and start over again. Down along the right hand side of the display, we have the button at the top here called main. We have the store key and we have the print key, and we will discuss these in greater detail as we get into the operation. The rest of the keyboard over on the right hand side, we have a 0 through 9 keypad, we have a star key, we have a decimal point, we have the red key, which is called the menu key, we have a backspace key, and the green key, which is called the enter key. There's also located on the loader a key, a push button, white push button, that is the same as the enter key. We call it the remote enter key. So on the loader you will also find a key that is equivalent to this, that's mounted near the hydraulic levers. In the flap under this cover is where the SD card belongs in the 8000. That when the SD card is in there, it records each one of the loads. And how you actually do a 0. When you press the 0 key, it will tell you to lift the bucket at normal speed. I'll put just a little bit of weight on there so that you can see how it works. 0.04, and then it set the new 0. Then it asks you to lift it to the reference position, which is the position at what we call the static position. That's at the first beep, and it will say weighing, and it will zero that out as well. So that is how the 0 should be accomplished, and that should be done each day if possible. The other part of this is to determine how to create a load. So to create a load, particularly by using the customers and products, and remember that the Loadlog 8000i has the ability to store up to 500 customers and 200 products. So in order to create a load, when the truck arrives in front of the operator presses the button that's called store. That button will immediately bring up the customer list that's stored into the unit. There are several ways for the operator to be able to select a customer, but the easiest one, of course, is just to use the down arrow key. Once you have selected the customer, you press the enter key. It immediately brings up the product list in front of you, and again, we're going to select a product. And at this point, if you notice down here in the bottom, we've selected customer 3 and product number 2. And at this point, we would begin to load the truck. Loading the truck would be go into the pile, roll the bucket back, and just lift. And you'll notice that as we lift, the weight is displayed, and because the scale is set in automatic, it automatically added the bucket load on, and we get another one, and we continue to load the truck until we are satisfied that we have the correct amount on there. Once we do that, we press and hold the clear button, and at that point, if the printer is connected and or the data card is in the unit here, it would automatically write to the data card and it would automatically print. Pressing the clear button would do that. Again, going in review, going back to the store key, creating a load, you can see that our customers are here again by pressing the store key. Press the enter key on the one that you want. Press the enter key on the product. This is customer 4, product 3. Again, load the truck. And at this point, we will call this load good enough, and we'll press and hold the clear button. Notice that the customer and product are reset back to undefined customer, undefined product as soon as we press the clear key. We need to have a discussion about using or use of the target line. That's the upper line where the truck is. If we desire to put a target in, we just simply can type that in on the keyboard. In this case, we're going to put in 10 tons. So the upper line is now our target, and we're going to put 10 ton on this particular truck. We're going to create the load again by pressing the store key, selecting customer number 6 and product number 6. So we have customer 6, product 6, the target is 10 tons. You'll notice that as we now go into the pile, lift the bucket, that our upper line will do something quite different than it did before, that being this, that what we have lifted is displayed on the middle line, and the upper line, it is subtracted from our target. So as we add buckets to the this particular load, the target line will continue to go down. This leads us to the last bucket. At this point, we need 2.53 ton, and we lift, and you'll notice that the display flashes telling us that we have 3.32 ton. The operator would need to lower the bucket down to the weighing position, which is the static position, and you notice that it says weighing here, and at that point he would roll the bucket forward and then roll it back to get himself into the situation where he has, on this particular line here, 2.49 ton. The target is actually 2.53. Certainly that would be close enough for most loads, and so at this point you would use the remote enter key, the key that is next to the hydraulic lever, to add the bucket. Notice that it's telling us that we have underloaded the truck by 0.04 tons, but we do have 9.96 on the truck. So at that point, that is the use of the target line and the live last bucket. Again, pressing and holding the clear button will clear it. Please note that the target comes back. So if you are loading trucks during the day that all require the same amount of material, the target will come back. The target is also able to be stored with the customer, and that's a discussion for a later video that will have to do with the data handling. For now, we have discussed all the buttons except clear one, and so I'm going to show you what happens when you lift a bucket and you do not want it on the truck. If you press the clear one button, obviously it went back to the original target and it went back to 0 tons loaded. The auto manual button, this button down here in the corner, if you select manual as your entry, you noticed before that every time I lifted, the display changed automatically. If you're in manual, you must press the remote enter key each time that you lift the bucket. And that is the difference between auto and manual. The power key is in the lower left-hand corner of the display right over here, and for our general discussion of operation, this will conclude this particular video.